All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, here we go, back again on the other side of the coin, and I got the boys back. You know what it is when you have these two boys back. It's all about Chelsea news. You lot enjoyed this a lot last week, so we thought let's make this a theme. You know what I mean, like a weekly sort of thing, and it's actually a good therapy. I feel like, you know, we're not really talking about a match. We're not previewing, reviewing. We're just randomly talking about every Chelsea news that's sort of floating around and trying to make some sense out of it. But before we get into all of that, first of all, thank you to the live chat. There was quite a few people that were waiting. So thank you heaps for the live chat to joining in and supporting as always, and all the people that are going to join in throughout the stream and watch it down the track. Thank you heaps as usual. Keep the comments coming because it's all about Chelsea news. So literally, whatever you guys want to talk about, just put it down in the comments and we may pick it up. But yeah, to my panelists, Ameya and Kishan, my man, how you doing? First, I'll go to Kishan. How's things?
All good once I figured out how to use the technology, but now we're here a few minutes late. But yeah, all good. Like you said, it's a bit of therapy, but we're not the other two London clubs to be needing the therapy right now. So it's just vibes.
That's right. It's just vibes, bro. It's just
great
vibes.
To speak about.
I was watching. I'm not sure if many of you guys watch the Don Robbie, the Best of Enemies, and they had their recent episode, and it was North London is Dead, and I was like, I've got to watch this. This is gonna be fun. Ameya, my boy, has things.
Yep, holding on. I think Chelsea's good form is definitely helping me get through this time for sure. That's for certain. And looking forward to this chat because, as you mentioned, it's therapy, man. It's therapy for us, and it's great to talk about Chelsea, especially when we're doing so good.
100%. Look, shout out to all the people in India. I know you guys are doing very tough at the moment, Ameya. Look, anyone who's listening and who's in India, if you can help out, even for us as well, like any sort of donations, I'm sure there's many ways to reach out and help out. Please do so because they're really struggling at the moment with the disease. So shout out to all the people. Hopefully they stay healthy and safe and they get back to some sort of form of normality. Frederick Thames is already here, still buzzing after that huge win. 100%, my man. We've got Ayub saying, Miz, what do you make of Hudson Odoi cameo? We're definitely talking about that. Don't you worry. We will be talking about that. That's part of the news. We've got CFC Zippy here. Saying rumors about you being a plastic Chelsea fan and supporting Arsenal has come up again. Yeah, you know what? I might just talk about this, Zippy. Thank you for saying this because this is my platform and I need to clear that up. So that's brilliant. Honestly, it's just reminded me of something. And then we've got Maldini's middle finger. Hello, gents. We've got Rafa here as well. Well, a lot of people here. Advaid is here. That's fantastic. Honestly, let's get this show started. Let's talk about Thomas Tuchel. I think we need to talk about Thomas Tuchel first up. I'm just going to bring this up on the side. He talks about, let's just read this. Tuchel on halftime team talk versus City. Let's continue as though it's 0-0. Don't lose our heads because of these last few minutes. Step up, play with courage, have more ball possessions in their half. And this is what the guys did. And the momentum changed completely with the goal. I could feel the confidence growing and we played with more and more quality, pressure, and we never stopped attacking. It's a huge win and fantastic second half performance. Boys, before we talk about Thomas Tuchel and what that whole halftime sort of spill that he gave us post-match and what he was thinking, because I didn't have you guys in the show, I just want to know, what do you guys think about? I'll go to you, Ameya, this time. What was your feelings post-match?
Well, honestly, I didn't know what to do because for some reason I was excited about the win, obviously, and the fact that we beat City at the Etihad. I mean, every team has the right to be happy about that. But at the same time, I just sat back and laughed. You know, I mean, it was such a scrape through. I mean, it was an end-to-end game, right? And I thought we'll get to the Sterling penalty incident as well later on. But I honestly thought that, especially Anthony Taylor being Anthony Taylor, I was so sure that he's going to point to the spot for that one. And then after that, they had a couple of chances. And then it was such an end-to-end game. And in the end, all I could do was sit back and laugh. And I hope that, Pep Guardiola isn't plotting his revenge for us against the final. That was my major worry because, but yeah, I mean, I was obviously very delighted. And I was watching the game. In fact, my parents were watching the game with me. And then I just suddenly started burst out laughing, and then they're like, you know what, calm down, man.
Kishan, look, we've been talking, throughout the match, before the match, and we were sort of saying that, we're not worried about Man City, but at the same time, we understand it is away from home. If we can get a draw, fantastic. But when the winner came, you and me, we just had a laugh. We were like, oh my days. I mean, Tuchel simply can't do anything wrong at the moment. Anything he produces, any lineup he puts out there, it's like every player steps up and does their job. What was your feeling at the end of the match?
I get what Ameya's saying as well. I thought it felt like a robbery, not necessarily because we didn't play well, but in my head, when you see the fixtures, you kind of mentally account for stuff where I thought I mentally accounted for a point max at Man City, and I mentally accounted for that Leicester would smash Newcastle. So the fact that they got smashed by Newcastle and we got 3 points there, it was just everything coming together. And now we're actually third, like legit third. No one with games in hand on us that can go on top of us and stuff like that. So it's like if someone creeps in, at least they have to take over Leicester's spot and not ours now. So in that way, I was really happy. But how the end of the first half went, like when we thought we'd be 2-0 down, I was really happy with the point when Ziyech scored. I was like, yes, that's all right. But then with the amount of sort of offside goals, I know Werner was offside by a lot, but then the Hudson-Odoi one, it looked like only one side was going to win it. Apart from if we were clumsy, like Zuma was clumsy. We'll get onto that. But in terms of actual play, I thought we did look in the ascendancy, and it was only right that we nicked it in the end, I think, on the balance of it.
I think as well, second half we were a much better team. Obviously, as you said, we'll talk about the Zuma incident. He had a wild match. He had a tackle that was a goal-saving tackle, which is as good as a goal. But then he had a clumsy affair over there with Sterling.
He just looks so clumsy doing stuff, doesn't he? When he...
you know how he's dangling his hand around and he's dangling his feet around?
We've got the defense version of him in Zuma, and then when you got Werner on the other side, when he touches the ball and you're like, he's just like the two of them, so clumsy.
Exactly. It's a Jekyll and Hyde situation with Zuma sometimes. But yeah, like overall, we were the much better team in the second half. I know Pep Guardiola was talking a lot of stuff about the referee, and we'll talk about the referee. But yeah, now moving back into the Thomas Tuchel situation, I'll go to you, Kishan. I love the way how he sort of said those comments post-match that at halftime, we knew it wasn't as if they were beating us tactically. It was because of a single moment, a slip from Christensen, and then they go on and score. It wasn't as if they were all over us or anything like that. We were definitely in the game. And obviously the madness of giving away a penalty, and then Aguero, wow, we'll talk about that as well, the Panenka, and his tweeting and whatnot. But he pretty much said, boys, just go into the second half, imagining it's 0-0, and just go out there and play your game. I mean, Kishan, that's a mature manager right there, isn't it? Like someone who's able to just take the troops in and not get phased at halftime, being a goal down against Man City, who are leading the table at the moment. And he's pretty much told the guys, look, play our game and we can probably get these guys. Be confident and we can probably get these guys. I mean, and not just that, Tuchel post-match as well. You saw the hugs with Callum Hudson-Odoi, and how he's smashing his chest, and he's giving him tips and really geeing him up. And what he did with Billy Gilmour as well, hugging him. He's gone around hugging everyone, high-fiving everyone. Well, how do you feel about this coach, man? Do you feel like, yeah, man, we've got something good going on here?
I literally messaged you after the game saying, give him a lifetime contract. I've just seen enough of the guy. Like, literally, you can't get enough of the guy. Every single game, he just seems to grow on you. And then after this game, a lot of the quotes came out, even the ones that when he was at his first press conference and he say stuff like, "We'll make us really difficult to play against," all that kind of stuff comes out. He just says the right thing and he backs it up, which is a good thing. It's not just saying it. But in terms of like having a mature approach to it, we were only 1-0 down, and he said that game was literally a 0-0 really. But it was the Christensen sort of mistake, and then he got injured. I thought first he was faking it because of the, but he wasn't.
You know what? We've seen Christensen do that, haven't we? You remember that Aston Villa?
You see a lot of players do that. You know when they miss a penalty and they look down at the floor for the little bump or something. It was a bit, it was like the Villa one as well. So I thought it was that. But in terms of what he said to the boys, it's like I feel like he really believes in what he's got. Like, I know we're 1-0 down to City, but you have enough firepower that if you do what's right, we will get chances and we will score. And he was right in the end of it. And his substitutions just came exactly at the right time as well. So he gets full marks really. Apart from West Brom, I'm not even going to put that. If I was rating him now, I'd still give him a perfect 10.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, man, I wish we get one more chance against Big Sam. He's gone out there and beaten Zidane. He's beaten, Simeone, Guardiola twice, this, that, and whatnot. He's beaten many big managers out there. But Big Sam has his number.
This is what the Premier League is, though. That's what shows the level of the Premier League, don't it?
100%. Ameya, what were your thoughts when you were seeing those videos that was just pretty much viral all over football Twitter at the moment, with him post-match going around just literally just hugging everyone, geeing everyone up, even Reece James. He went up to Reece James and smashed him on the chest a few times and really backed him. And I think he really enjoyed that performance from Reece James. For me, Reece James was man of the match. I know a lot of people have their own opinions, but for me, second half, the way he attacked Mendy, we've got some comments here talking about that as well. Right here from P. Rudy. How about Reece James making Mendy look like a championship left back? 100%. He kind of did. He kind of did in that second half. He took care of it. Ameya, what were your thoughts looking at those images, man?
I was very happy because, the main reason why a lot of people were, skeptical about Tuchel at first, although Tuchel had a record of integrating youth into the team in his previous teams, but it was mainly Dortmund, right? And, Dortmund sort of has that youth integration system in their club anyway. So a lot of people were, concerned that once, Frank Lampard was sacked, that these youngsters would probably not get a look in again. But you look at them now, and every single name you mentioned, right? You mentioned Reece James, you mentioned Hudson-Odoi, you mentioned Billy Gilmour. All of them are academy graduates. All of them are youngsters, and all of them are not even close to their prime. But in fact, they're the ones that are, getting the most games. They are our best players at the moment. And I think that, that sort of won a lot of people over because, you guys know me. I was strictly against Lampard being sacked, but I was for Tuchel's appointment once he was sacked. I really love Tuchel, but I think the way that he's won over every section of the fan base it's beautiful. And as he just the comment just showed, he walked the walk and he talked the talk, and he told he's so honest in his press conferences also, isn't he? And he just has that charisma about him, and he does whatever he says he will do, or and even if he says trust me guys, I will trust him. If he says trust me and he plays Alonso up top in the Champions League final, I'm still going to back that decision. And that's what he's made Chelsea fans do, right? And it's just beautiful to see. And our fan base was so divided once Lampard was sacked. I think it was since the Sarri season, in fact, it was so divided. But the way that he's managed to integrate every single section of the fan base together, it's amazing. And now I don't see a single person. I mean, it's stupid at this point, but there is absolutely no one who cannot back Tuchel after this, and I'm pretty sure that all of us are getting emotionally attached to him, probably for the first time since Antonio Conte. In fact, his energy was so infectious and stuff like that. And once fans are let back into the stadium, I'm pretty sure we're going to form a very emotional bond with Thomas Tuchel as well.
Yeah, look, 100%. And just on that, it's very interesting what you said, that you're one of those that wasn't happy with Frank Lampard getting sacked, and now you're sort of falling in love with Thomas Tuchel. Here's the thing, and I don't know whether it's maybe it just differs from people to people. Look, with me, I was also emotionally attached with Frank Lampard. But for me, winning is important.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like for me,
Yeah.
the club comes before anyone else. I can't see my club going through that 2 months of hell that we went through between December and January, because our club is too big for that. It is way too big for that. I've personally not enjoyed that level of mediocrity throughout my, following the Chelsea Football Club. Many may say, I only started just prior to Roman taking over, which was about 1999, right? After that, Roman took over, I started seeing the happy days of Chelsea. But I've seen enough now for this club under Roman to realize that we're not that type of a club that can endure that much of sorrow, basically. So, and this is the same thing I want to say with Thomas Tuchel as well. And this is what I like about Thomas Tuchel, because he understands this to the core. He has said it many a times in press conference that it doesn't matter if I get a contract extension. It doesn't matter if I get a 5-year contract, a 10-year contract. If I start losing left, right, and center, if I have 3 losses in a row, it will start being questioned that what's going on. But that's just the stature of this club. We cannot go that long with bad results. And this is what I love about Thomas Tuchel, that he understands that. So this is where I feel, and I want to get your thoughts as well, Kishan, because I feel like sometimes in social media, a lot of people, they misinterpret, and Twitter's just a toxic place, man. You can't even say 2 words in Twitter to make people understand what's going on. Many think people that wanted Frank Lampard out, they think you're Frank Lampard hater. I'm not a Frank Lampard hater, for God's sake. I love this guy. He's given us so much joy. But he's not the manager for our club. He's just not it. It's not me hating. It's me just saying that we need a experienced manager to come in and do the job, because these players, they need someone who knows exactly what's going on. And Thomas Tuchel is, how did we go from this same lot that Frank Lampard said that not able to compete to now in the Champions League final and FA Cup? And I'm not having a go at Frank Lampard here. I'm just saying that's the difference between experience and not having experience. Kishan, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, literally, I agree with you as well, because when you talk about the club and you see what's happening now, it's like it was unnecessary for us to be that low in the first place under Frank, when such a good manager was out there that could take you higher. And it was like, I guess with the manager we employed, what makes it better was that he was employed by someone else until December. So we couldn't get him at the start. But it's like when Lampard dropped that low, you can't blindly back it, because some of what we were seeing in the games against teams like Leicester, when we lost 2-0 to Leicester, it literally looked like we gave up on the pitch, apart from Mason Mount. Everyone else looked like they gave up. They schooled us. And you went into every game thinking about the game that I started to think, whoa, hold on, was against Arsenal, where they'd lost about 7 in a row, or they hadn't won 7 in a row.
And it was their C team.
They came with their C team. Yeah, literally their C team. And they came and schooled us. And it was just like, how can a manager, when someone like the other managers that are beating Arteta, how can we not be? It looked like we hadn't prepared enough and we were complacent. You can't have that. When a good manager comes in, they'll ensure that they take every game seriously. And you can see that now, because when I look at some other games that we could have slipped up, I think possibly Fulham last week, because you've just had your Champions League game, you've got another one coming, you're sticking a bit of inexperience in and stuff like that, but you still managed to get over the line. And that's where the sort of coaching and the tactics of exact instruction comes out. I remember he had a video when he was at PSG saying, when we stick young players in, you can't just tell them to play off intuition. It's too much for them. You have to give them exact instructions. I think that's what Billy gets, and someone like Billy just coming in, if they're playing with instruction, it's going to make them look a lot better. And it feels like that second half yesterday, it feels like he gave Billy some instructions that after the game he was like, whoa, what a second half from you. Yeah, and Billy looked a lot better when Jorginho came on as well. They looked like they bounce off each other. This is just what a tactical mastermind does, basically.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. And all the things that he's been saying, he's saying that Chelsea Football Club is the kind of club you got to win now. No, in fact, you got to win yesterday. Like, we're late already. We should be winning yesterday. Do you know what I mean? He's not coming here and saying, give me 2 years. Give me 2 years to integrate. Let me just get you. No, there is no time. This is Chelsea Football Club.
Because
I'm
when
sorry.
he comes now, like people like Klopp, you can see when he came to Liverpool, he had a style of play, but he didn't have the personnel. Here, we might not have the exact players, but we have, you can't tell, before the season, everyone was saying we had the second best squad. And then it seems like they'd
100%.
forgotten that when we dropped to 9th or 10th, we still have all those players. They're just playing very badly. And proper manager with the style of players we got, you could see we could play that style of play.
Bro, some of our players don't even get a
pass.
game time now. Some of our players don't even get game time now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how much depth we have.
Tammy, if you look at the person that misses out of the squad, normally Tammy or Giroud miss out of the squad. And that level of player in pretty much any other team apart from Man City would at least be on the bench, and if not starting for a lot of these teams. We did have the squad depth. You can't, and you like just being 9th and 10th, you can't justify that.
Exactly right. Exactly. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to clear up. This is not a hate session. I love Frank Lampard as a player. As a manager, he has to learn a lot of stuff.
Even as a manager, I gotta say, even as a manager, for what he did in his first year, I thought that was amazing, brilliant stuff.
Amazing.
But it's like, and maybe the signings weren't all him, and that we can get into all that, but it's too much. But it's just like, you can't look at what's going on in the pitch and just say, no, this is Frank. We have to blindly give him time, because someone else has literally come in and got us past games where, under Frank, did anyone really think we could get past Atletico Madrid? Not really.
I didn't.
I thought we were gone really, and then and now in the final. So it's just
you know what?
Hopefully, give Frank a medal.
100%. I don't mind at all. He can get all the medals he wants. He was part of it. I think he probably deserves to get a medal. So I've got no issues with that. The only thing that I would say is that I think last season there wasn't much expectation from the fan base. There wasn't really much expectation, maybe from the hierarchies. And maybe the pressure wasn't there that much. So he was, we all know when the pressure's not on, we can all perform. We can all perform at a high level. But when the pressure's on, it was a free hit. It was a free hit of the season. But I still think, like, with that squad that he got top 4, the one thing is everyone says that, what's Lampard's legacy? If he hadn't got top 4, we can't make the final this season. So this is why getting top 4 is so important even this season, because people might say, you're only going for top 4 or whatever. But like, I generally always see this, that we'll go for top 4, but it's always with the intention next season we'll be better. We'll buy better players and go for the title. And it might not work out, because you'd possibly say we should have been challenging this season, but for some reason it didn't work out. And then we're still doing well in other competitions, and then we'll try again for the league next season. And if it don't work, we'll go next season. It's not that we're just falling flat. I don't think. I still think we're making progress. The players are getting better. 100%.
They're learning more. 100%. This manager's only been here for 3 months and he's beating Pep. So it's
Twice.
Like, it's twice. We got a final, and it seems like if you're looking in from the outside, you feel like he's got his number really. But we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. This is a really good comment from Kunal. The problem with Lampard reign was when it all started to fall apart, we had no track record of him to fall back on to say it will turn around. Look, probably that's a very good shout. Just the other thing to add as well, off the back of what Kishan and Ameya was saying, that if you look at Derby is now relegated, and then under him, Derby was 6th and in fact very close to getting the promotion. So he has done well in instances in his management, but he just needs a bit more, I suppose, experience. Boys, let's now talk about this one. This one I found a bit strange. I want to get your thoughts, Ameya. Obviously, Aguero got the penalty for Man City. I think had they gone 2-0 up, I think that would have been a very different scenario in the second half. It was very key for us to ensure that we still made it, going into the halftime at 1-0. But Aguero goes for a Panenka. Okay, fine, I get that. But that execution was so slow that Mendy literally had the time to go on one knee and get up and still collect. And then this is what he said post-match, Sergio Aguero. I would like to apologize to my teammates, staff, and supporters for missing the penalty. It was a bad decision, and I take full responsibility. I don't know, man. Like, I saw that tweet, and everyone was sort of having their words and laughing and whatnot. A lot of City fans were saying you don't need to do that. I personally think you don't need to do that. Like, I don't think players need to come out and say that kind of stuff. You took your penalty. It didn't work out. It's exactly what Pep said post-match. Pep was asked this, and he said, look, he was on penalty duties, and we've given license to the people to do what they want to do, and whatever you do with conviction and confidence, and it didn't come out. So what do you make about that tweet? Do you think that's necessary from a player?
Absolutely not. But I think the main reason was that, as you mentioned earlier, if they had gone 2-0 up, then I'm pretty sure that's 3 points in the back for City. I can't see us scoring, I mean, the way we played the second half, I wouldn't rule it out. But at that time, going into the halftime break, you're watching the commercials, you're thinking, okay, we're 2-0 down to the side that is about to be crowned the champions of England probably sometime this week. And you don't have the hope in the back of your mind that, okay, we could probably get something out of this game. I think that's the reason why Aguero feels so guilty, and he is probably the closest who gets to the legend status for City fans at the moment. And I think that he has also developed that sort of connection with the fans. All the fans absolutely love him, they adore him, and rightfully so. He's arguably one of the best strikers to have ever graced the Premier League. I think honestly, in his prime he was sensational. So he has built that connection with the fans, and which is why I think he himself is feeling guilty to have let the entire team down. But I don't think that's necessary at all. And in fact, huge credit to Aguero, because I can't think of many players who will step up and own up to their mistake, especially in such a match. And not to forget that if they'd won the game, they would have literally been the title winners, right? And now it's been postponed.
I think if they won the game, he wouldn't necessarily come out and say sorry. I think because they lost, it obviously makes it look a lot worse. And Panenka penalties are like that. If you score, you look amazing. If you miss, you look absolutely stupid. So it is. And I know Pep Guardiola was saying, I know the taker can take it how he wants, but Pep didn't look like he agreed with it as well on the pitch.
Bro. Pep was mad. Pep was mad. Ameya, I just want to say, I tweeted straight after that at halftime. I said, you know what? One positive at that halftime was Mendy started to look really good with the penalty decisions. He's becoming a bit of a penalty stopper. And a lot of people started to take me serious in like, oh, did you see how he took? I'm like, dude, I'm just like, that's sarcasm, man. He really didn't have to do anything. But some were actually saying that was a good save from Mendy. I was only kidding. Some were actually saying that was a very good save.
It actually is, because I can tell you this with confidence, because I am a goalkeeper. In fact, whenever I go out to play football or like tournaments with friends and stuff, I am a goalkeeper. So it is actually very hard to save a penalty. And penalties, it's basically a gamble. It's 50-50, right? Most keepers dive one way or another way, but especially with the Panenka, it's because he was only down on one knee that he was able to get up and save the penalty. Had he dived to one side and completely committed, he would have looked like the fool, and Aguero would have got the goal. So I think, I don't know if Mendy did that on purpose or he sort of gave up, but it did look like, he knew what was coming and then he just put out one hand and stopped it.
Here's my theory, Ameya, right? I did a stream with Lawrence straight after that, a ratings one, and Lawrence was rating Mendy a lot. He was giving him like 8.5 out of 10. And I said to Lawrence, take away the penalty save, which was great. It helped us. There wasn't much that Mendy had to do in that match. He wasn't really called upon many a times to do something. And he was really caught up on that penalty, and he was saying exactly what you said. But here's my take on Ameya, and I want to hear what Kishan has to say as well. I don't think Mendy, and we've all seen him in penalty situations, especially for Spurs, he doesn't fully commit to a dive either on the right or the left. He's always like, just sits on the ground, like just a little bit or a little bit that way. Like he doesn't really move that much. And I think because of that limited movement, it kind of helped him, because when it was a Panenka, he didn't dive that far. Like, I'm not sure if you guys remember against Tottenham, Ameya, I'll go to you.
Yeah.
When he was taking the penalty, he wasn't really diving one way or another extravagantly. So do you think maybe that played in his hand, that because he's not someone who really stretches out in a penalty and really goes for it, that he's somewhat like half-hearted in a penalty, and it suited him, that shot?
Yeah, I think it could be that as well, because as you mentioned, that Spurs penalty shootout, I think it was Mendy's debut as well for Chelsea, if I'm not wrong. In that
Yeah,
game.
it was.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, all right then. But I think it could have come to his favor as well. Yes, absolutely. I think that he didn't commit fully, and it played right into his hands. Quite frankly, I wasn't sure if he was expecting it as well. So I think, what you said makes perfect sense. I think he sort of half-heartedly went down. He probably could have even been thinking about half-time, like, oh, okay, we're probably going to go 2-0 down, and how we're going to have to... But let's give him the benefit of the doubt, and let's say, for our well-being as well, let's go on and say that he knew what he was doing and he kept us in the game.
I like it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's give Mendy the benefit of the doubt. Kishan, let's talk about this one, man. There's quite a few news to get through. Jamie Redknapp. I can imagine David Moyes and Brendan Rodgers throwing their remote at the TV when they saw Alonso's goal go in. The 3 points were so important for Chelsea to give them some breathing space. It was a huge result for Chelsea. Let's talk a little bit about Marcos Alonso. He is the enigma. I swear to you, and Kishan, you know it, Ameya, you know it. Don't you dare lie, boys, to me. When you saw Alonso's name in that team sheet in the starting lineup, you were like, oh, you know what? Okay, fair enough, he's starting. It's okay. But as soon as he scored, I don't think any of you guys were surprised that he scored a clutch goal, because we've seen the man score clutch. He's made a career out of scoring clutch goals. I had Nishal post-match in the review, and he summed it up nicely. He said, Marcos Alonso, he only scores important goals. He's not there for the other types of goals. He's only there for the important goals. Kishan, what was your feelings when you saw him in the lineup, one? And then two, were you surprised that he scored right at the end?
Like I said, I came on here a few weeks ago and I said, I'm getting to a point where I'd rather see Emerson now.
Yeah.
So when I did see Alonso, I was like, oh, God, not this. But as the game, as City took one or two corners, I could see the sort of height thing there from Tuchel, like he normally says, because City were winning a lot of headers with Ake. There's one that flashed just over the bar, and that kind of came off Rudiger. And I was like, okay, so I get why he's there. But even on the ball, he didn't look bad yesterday at all. And for your second question, was I surprised? Not at all. He's more likely to get your goal than Timo Werner is. It's like Alonso and Werner are so weird, where Werner might not play well or anything, but he'll put a ball in and get an assist and do something that sort of changes the game.
It was Werner's assist.
Yeah, exactly. Alonso, on the other side, might have a poor game, which he wasn't even poor yesterday, but he might have a poor game, and then he'd just pop up with a goal, and you're just like, where do we go from here? Because you can talk about a summer clear out and selling Alonso, but every time it comes to selling Alonso now, I think, how are we going to replace these 6-7 goals from left wing back? You could put Chilwell in the team. He's not going to get up there and score that many either.
And you know what, Kishan? That's my problem with Chilwell. Like, I love Chilwell. Chilwell's number one Chelsea left wing back, back, whatever you want. And he has done a lot of good stuff. He's been developing well. He's getting some assists. The one thing that I do want to see Chilwell do a lot more is what Alonso does, is get into the box. If you're a left wing back, get into the box, because I think Chilwell can get more goals. Like, is that how you feel as well?
Technically, Chilwell is so sound as well. He's like Alonso almost, not as good, but in terms of when you see him strike a ball, I remember against Villa when we were 1-1 under Frank, last minute it comes over him, he hits his lovely volley and it goes wide by a tiny bit. So technically he's really good. At the start of the season, he got a few goals. Yeah. There's the case that there was the goal that Chile scored against Porto, and if Alonso is there, he definitely doesn't get that goal because of the pace that Chilwell robbed him and went past and scored. Yeah. But it's the sort of, it's like striker goals that Alonso gets. He literally arrive in the box like he's like prime Frank Lampard, late in the box, and just knock one in. Yeah. And it was so scruffy. If you hit that properly, Edison might save it. But it's like Hudson-Odoi. Did you kick it? And then Alonso says...
You know what the crazy part was? Cho was saying, I think I might have got a little bit of touch on that.
Sometimes you get those where both people feel like they've touched. It don't really matter. But Alonso said, Cho kicked my leg. Imagine it kicks his leg, the ball just loops over. It's just you don't know how to describe, but once it goes in, oh man, it felt like daylight robbery because of where we are in the table now as well. And it's like City's title thing has been delayed for so long now. I don't know. Yeah. They could have won it last week, right?
They could have won it last week. Yeah.
Who did they play last week?
No, it's because the United-Liverpool game got postponed because of fan.
Yeah.
No, correct.
So if United fluffed,
yeah,
exactly. And still, again, today, if United fluffs now, they win.
They will, yeah.
So it's really up to United to keep winning, and let's see how long this gets delayed. I don't know if this is going to go all the way to the wire.
I've seen a lot of United fans and some of my United friends say you're going to finish second now, and I'm like, wait, what? You have like 2 or 3 games in hand.
Yeah, are they thinking they're going to take over City and we're going to take over?
No, they're thinking we're going to take over them and they're going to finish that. And I was like, I don't see that really.
I just wonder how long this might be delayed for City. This is going to be funny if it goes down to the wire on the last day.
But the issue is, I think United have 3 games this week. They have one on Sunday, on Tuesday, and then on Thursday. So if they lose, I'm fairly certain that they're going to drop points in at least one. I mean, they have.
Is that what it's going to take, Ameya? Like just a single point dropped and it's finished?
Yeah.
So they're going to win 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not easy games as well. Aston Villa away, they're a pretty solid side. Then they have Leicester, and then they have Liverpool as well. So
hopefully they beat Leicester. Hopefully they beat Leicester.
Yeah. Hopefully they beat Leicester, actually. I can't see them winning 3 in a row. Nah. City, what am I thinking? How stupid. Now, City's going to win it. Like, what the hell? I can't even believe I've started to entertain maybe it's going to go all the way till the end. Nah, no way. Ameya, I was just going to say, isn't it so great to see that no matter who Tuchel brings in, and they all seem to do a job. Like, Alonso hasn't played for a little while, I'd say. He hasn't had a string of games, whereas Chilwell has been having a string of games. He comes in, clutch moment, scores a goal. I just want to bring out some of his comments here. Give me 1 second, guys. He was saying, where is it? Here we go. Yeah, let's just bring this up. That is what I need to keep doing. Chelsea match winner Marcos Alonso says his goal was special and says he will do his best to play more under Thomas Tuchel. I think there was a few more stuff as well. Let me just quickly go through. Here we go. Alonso, we need to secure top 4. Today was a big step. Still 3 games to go. We need to keep working hard. Everyone wants to play these next games. I'm trying to do my best every time I'm on the pitch. With a few weeks to go, I'll try to be there to do my best to help the team out. I mean, it's wonderful to see these sort of players, so-called fringe players, literally not that long ago. They're really putting in an effort right now for the bigger cause for Chelsea and ensuring that whenever they get the opportunity, they're doing the job. Like that must be that must feel really good for you as well as a fan to see that these players come in and they're producing what we need.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always good to see fringe players come out in support of the team, in support of the manager, and say that, I will do what you asked me to do, instead of bad-mouthing the manager in the press because you're not getting games. So huge props to Alonso for that. And was I surprised that he got the goal? Absolutely not. In fact, in the first half, I think we did have a free kick just outside the box and Alonso was standing over it. And, I was so sure that Alonso's going to score that. For some reason, I was like, yep, he's going to score that. But unfortunately, that didn't go in. But then in the second half, he did get the inevitable goal. And I think Alonso... It's a really complex situation. I don't know how someone can, score so many clutch goals. And then, you put him in that team in the next game and he's going to drop an absolute 3 out of 10 stinker, probably score an own goal.
Give away a penalty, slide tackle, red card, the lot.
The lot, absolutely the lot. So I don't know how someone can be so good yet so bad at the same. And I say this about a lot of players, in fact. But yeah, sure.
With Alonso, I don't think he's like chaotically bad. So like, how you say you can expect an own goal or something. He's not that bad, but he'll get rinsed by someone. So if someone is running alongside him, they can literally rinse him for pace or whatever. He won't get he'll get beat up badly like that, but he's technically too good to score stuff like own goals and stuff like that. I can't really remember him giving away penalties and stuff as well. But it's just like,
bro, I remember.
Really
it gives me nightmares. He's given away penalties to,
and
I remember, was it Leicester? Last time we played Leicester.
Was it?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure he gave away penalties. Oh, I can't remember, but he's given away penalties, man.
I think he's given away a couple of. It's mainly because he's too slow to track back, I think.
And that was normally when he plays left back.
Yeah.
This is another thing, I think. It's like a lot of fans are fixated about whether we're going to play 3 at the back, 4 at the back next season. But it's like Tuchel, I remember in the interview, he said, no matter what we do next season, we should always remember that we have this. And it's like, for that kind of stuff, surely we'd want to keep Alonso as an option as a wing back for how clutch he can come through with the goals. Yeah, honestly, if you need a goal last minute and you look at the bench and Alonso's there and you've got Tammy and whatnot, chances are you're thinking slap Alonso to get a goal.
I mean, you look at if we do keep the 3 at the back and the wing backs, perhaps Chilwell's becoming a very good left wing back now. Yeah. I'm starting to really like him in that position. I think he's starting to understand that as well. Obviously, Alonso is still a solid backup as a left wing back, but then there's shouts for, I think, that Dortmund player, Rafael Guerrero, who's very good on the left side, and he knows how to play left wing back. But yeah, it's an interesting point. It is an interesting point, but one maybe we'll keep for another session in terms of whether what we do and whatnot, if we maintain with the same formation. Let's look at another news over here. Billy Gilmour covered the most distance for Chelsea against Man City at 12.44 kilometers with the highest average speed of 7.69 kilometers per hour. Boys, for me, I thought Billy Gilmour this season, I know last season he had some amazing performances. This season, this was his best one so far. Not amazing, but still very solid performance up against the Premier League leaders. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's really, there's a video, I'm pretty sure you guys would have seen, 3 City players on him and he sneaks in a ball in the middle and I can't remember who it was. Then, the next player takes and drives through. But that was really great how he sucked in 3 players and put the ball through. And overall, I thought he looked very good. Obviously, with Kante, it was a different type of role that he had to play. When Jorginho came, it was another different type of role that he had to play. He had more freedom to sort of go up and down the channel. But I'll go to you, Kishan, on this one. Billy Gilmour, man, do you think, I know we talk about this all the time, but I feel very, very confident after that performance that maybe this boy is better off staying under Thomas Tuchel and just learning and just waiting for the time. And eventually, and I feel like Thomas Tuchel really values him. He really values him. And maybe next season he can get a little bit more time. And then eventually it'll be like a Foden story. Do you know what I mean? Like he'll just burst into the scene. How you feeling? But how you feel about Billy Gilmour after that performance?
Yes, I think this performance and the last one, the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, I remember thinking, oh, we really missed Jorginho. I think you could say that most for the first half. And then you got to remember he gave away that penalty as well. So I know it was a bit soft, but you can't really get your feet tangled in that area like that. But then, like Tuchel said after the game when he grabbed him and said, what a second half. It's like a different player came out with more confidence, with more, maybe more tactical instruction. You never know. And then especially when Jorginho came on, those two looked so good together, where they just bounce off each other. And you had Billy as the more progressive one. And it's like he's kind of forcing himself to be an option. Tuchel always said that Billy is that 4th guy that when I've got these 3 fit, then they're going to play. But Billy as that 4th guy. But now that Billy's got minutes, I think we all expected FA Cup game against Sheffield United. Once we played that, we really thought, where's the minutes going to come from now? And I think he will get some minutes from now to the end of the season with what he's shown. And that kind of forces him into the conversation if he keeps playing well. And then another good thing for him is he really wants to be in that Scotland squad. I know we don't look at it like But that is something we should look at, because if he wants to do it, we should be supporting him in that. And if he can get these few minutes, and it's not like we're giving him pity minutes. It's not we're just giving him minutes because you want to play for Scotland.
He started for Fulham. He started against Fulham, and now he started against Man City in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean?
And he's bringing value. And this is the thing. When you look at the other game that we played against Brighton, and Mason Mount played as a 6, and he was quite poor that day, you just think to yourself, Billy would have been an option back then. And I think maybe Tuchel will think that, like, okay.
I think all of us said that it should have been Billy.
That game, they were so bad that it was almost like there would have been no risk playing Billy, because everyone was so poor anyway. And it's like, maybe he thought that, and he thought, okay, with Fulham, we'll give you a shot. I'd stick him in against Arsenal now as well. Because we got the final coming. It depends on Cover's situation, but we have got an FA Cup final. We really need to win that. So why not stick Billy in against Arsenal? It's not a massively confident Arsenal team either.
You know what? I wouldn't be against it one bit. Honestly, I think Billy Gilmour is a big shout for that game. And then, Kante started this game. Maybe he doesn't start that one. Jorginho plays, and then they swap again, and then they both feature in the Leicester final. 100% understand that. Ameya, let's talk about another news here. Alan Shearer talks about the reason why they were much better in the second half was because they got Alonso and James a lot higher up the pitch, a lot more involved. Reece James is the one that I want to talk about, who I thought, particularly in the second half, was magnificent, gave Mendy a torrid time. His pace, his drive, and his quality to get up there, they couldn't handle. There was at least 3 or 4 occasions when he was able to do that. But when he's doing that, he's pulling everyone else up there with him. That was a big difference in the second half. Ameya, a lot of people laugh about Reece James and his pace. I think he's starting to put people in their places. He was very fast yesterday, and he looked very fast against Fulham as well, I believe, when he came out in the second half. But yesterday, one player, if I was to single out, that initiated our ascendancy, our hold on the match, I think it started from Reece James and his, I suppose, impetus from that right side, the way he took on Mendy. I think there was a ball where he chipped over Mendy and just ran past him and then created havoc up front. So much so that he created so much havoc that Pep Guardiola had to take Mendy off. Like, buddy, you've had enough. Like, get out of here. I got to get Zinchenko in because you're getting destroyed, and we're going to probably end up losing this. This is what happened anyway. But what do you think about his performance? That was a powerhouse performance from my perspective.
Yeah, it was a tremendous performance. And I think that Reece James, like Chilwell, sort of took a little bit of time to get adjusted to the right wing back role. He has played it in the past, but I still believe that a right back position, like in a back 4, is the best position for Reece James. Personally, for me at least, he's so much more well-rounded than Trent and Van Bissaka as well for the England spot. So he's such a well-rounded player that I think that right back is the best position for him. But since we did switch to 3 at the back, I think sometimes he used to have a good game. He used to show glimpses of his quality, but then more often than not, he didn't really contribute too much to the game. And his strength basically is crossing, right? So when you have Giroud on the pitch, I think that he can cross and then get a lot of assists. And I think when you play, Werner or even Kai Havertz for that matter, I mean, he's tall, but he's not exactly that guy who's going to jump up and go for the header, So I think that in that sense, Reece James was sort of, I don't want to say obsolete, but then he was just not contributing. He wasn't standing out. I think that's the best way I can put it. It's not that he was having a bad game, but he wasn't standing out. But then yesterday, he just proved that he's absolutely learned how to handle that right wing back position. I think the first half, he was decent, wasn't spectacular. But the second half, the way that he attacked, as you mentioned, Mendy had to be taken off. Even Nathan Ake was so troubled by Reece James yesterday. So I think that Reece James yesterday proved that he is absolutely ready to play in that right wing back role. And should we carry forward this formation next season, then Reece James is going to he's going to blow up next season for sure. And not that he's not blown up this season, but I think that the desire is there. I mean, he is such a complete player. He's a powerhouse, like you mentioned, right? He's an absolute powerhouse. And yesterday, it was a shame that he didn't get any goal contributions, because he was putting in so many balls into the box, running to the byline, cutting it.
There was
back.
one where Timo Werner was just centimeters away.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that yesterday, Reece James absolutely blew apart that Manchester City defense, the best defense in the league, by the way. And
Yes.
he has absolutely blown them apart. So a fantastic performance. And I think he did win the man of the match from the poll which Chelsea FC conducted on Twitter as well.
Nice.
So
Deserves it. Deserves it.
fully
100%.
deserved. Fully deserved. I think he
100%.
was exceptional.
This comment here is really interesting. Bobby, thank you so much for this comment. I would like to see Cho play right wing back against Arsenal. James needs a rest and Cho needs the game time. You know what? And I want to hear what you guys think. Kishan, I'll go to you first. Personally, I actually think Reece James is better now in the right wing back, and I want Cho to be further up what he did against Man City, the way he was playing. I feel like Callum Hudson-Odoi deserves probably a start now. I think you can play him up front alongside maybe. I think Ziyech probably deserves to play as well. Maybe you can play him in the final. I don't know. Pulisic, Kai Havertz probably come in. So it could well be Kai Havertz, Cho. Werner probably deserves a break against Arsenal. He's played so many matches. Could be Kai Havertz, Cho, and Hakim Ziyech or Pulisic. I don't know. But do you feel like Cho in right wing back or Cho more further up?
For that game, I'd probably say further up because I disagree that James needs a rest. I think he's recently has been playing right wing back as well, especially in big games.
Exactly.
He doesn't really need a rest. So I think he's okay to go. But I still don't think you can rule out Cho as a right wing back option because he just brings that electric pace that Reece hasn't quite got. I know you're saying Reece is looking a lot better now, which is good. He did kind of rinse Mendy for pace yesterday, but I think Cho is like every single time you get the ball to him, it's that you know what's coming next. Is he gonna come inside? Is he gonna go down the byline and cross? There's a lot more to his game there, I think. But regardless of where he plays on the pitch, he brings that. So you can have him further forward. But I just remember that Crystal Palace game when you had Mount, Pulisic and Havertz, and then you had Cho wing back. And no one really talks about Cho wing back. Everyone says, that front three was great, but he was such a massive part of that. And him and Mount seemed to have this great connection of like, you give it to Mount, he'd make a little run, Mount gets it back into him. They're so good. So right wing back, I still think he can play that really well. And I wouldn't mind seeing him start there. But again, I don't think Reece needs a rest. So I'd start Cho. I'm not sure about Pulisic, whether you start him in the final, whether you start him against Arsenal. He's a weird one because I thought he was really, really poor yesterday until he got bodied by Rodri countless times. He looked so lightweight yesterday.
But I got abused for saying that on Twitter. I thought, okay, hear me out. Pulisic is a fantastic player. I've got no agenda on him. I do a lot of propaganda on Pulisic. I love the guy, right?
Yeah.
My only qualm that I have with Pulisic is he has magnificent dribbling. He has magnificent control. I feel he can be a lot more decisive after his dribble, after he's done a drive. Like, I feel like he does mad dribbles and then it materializes to be nothing. And people get caught up with the dribbling, but they forget that, well, it didn't turn out to be anything. Do you know what I mean? It didn't turn out to be an assist. It didn't turn out to be a key pass. It didn't turn out to be a goal. And once again, caveat here is I think he's a fantastic player because he scored against Real Madrid. He is a finisher. When he does it, he has a madness. Like I've said it many times, he has an X factor to win us the league single-handedly if he goes on a hot streak. He really has.
Yeah.
But I think he can be a complete destroyer if he just produces that clinicalness off the back of his dribble or off the back of his, drives. If he just finds that key pass, like puts someone through, everyone be like, wow, that's a magnificent.
He had this post-lockdown, didn't he? Like he actually had end product. And that's why everyone was drawing those Hazard comparisons. So I get what you mean. But yesterday, my big problem with him was physicality, where he turned into a Rodri or someone, and he just get pushed out of the way. And a lot of people talk about him being lightweight, and I get it, but it's not really. I've not really seen him struggle.
Bro, look at Mason Mount
being lightweight. Yeah. You don't have to. You don't have to be a beast. You don't have to be even as Eden Hazard chunky to push off players. But it's just it was running into players and bouncing off them so many times. There was a few. I think after 1-1, he kind of got into, even for Ziyech's goal, he did quite well in getting the ball to Aspie, but it wasn't a great game that I'd think, okay, start against Arsenal or start against Leicester. That's the problem with Pulisic right now. I don't know which side is he, the B team, or is he you put him in the A, because as a player, he's my favorite. Like on my Chelsea shirt, I have Pulisic number 10. He's my favorite player from the end of last season. But Werner, for how dodgy he is, he brings something. You know he's going to put in an assist that's going to do something on the run or something. But even him one-on-one, he was really poor. Like when he gets one-on-one with a defender, he needs to learn to beat players a lot better. He slows down, runs into them, and then
he starts thinking.
He runs into them. He gives them the ball. And the amount of times when he gives them the ball, they go past him. Laporte had the ball, megged him. And I just thought, you don't let that happen if that's like a Mason Mount. So it's like, I do get what you mean with Pulisic. The others, some of them have their problems too, but where do we go? That's why I really want to see Cho given a chance, because he brings that different directness compared to even Pulisic. Yeah. Pulisic is more the dribbly. This guy is explosive. Like once he leaves, he's gone. And Werner is explosive. You don't want to give him the ball, run into space and we'll put the ball there.
Exactly. And here's the thing, once again, that I think it's a fantastic situation that Thomas Tuchel's in, that all of them are playing well, and you can chop and change and pretty much be happy up front. I feel like now it's probably just about time to give Callum a bit of a go against Arsenal. I'm not saying take this Arsenal game lightly at all. I want Arsenal destroyed, because that loss in December hurt me a lot.
But that's the thing. We think of Callum is not taking it lightly because he's such a good player. He's shown like he's a game changer, even in the City game. You got Rafe saying Pulisic must develop his lower back and gain some, telling him to do deadlifts.
But this is what the fan base is. So you got Rafe saying this, but look right below, Mohamed. Pulisic needs to start. He gives you something special. This is the thing. We got very split.
Like X Factor,
I think
exactly.
If I could just quickly add on, it's because that he isn't the finished article yet. I think people keep forgetting that at such a young age, you're not even expected to play week in, week out for a side that's, we're in the Champions League final. We're not, casual sort of side. And we're not a side that says, okay, fine, top 4 is enough. We want to win trophies. And you're not expected to play regularly for such a club at that age. I think that he's still, not a finished article. And it's, once again, we keep going back to the Foden situation. It's because, Pep groomed him so well. I think Pep, did cop some abuse from the English media because, Phil Foden was rated so highly and he was probably the best, prospect to come out of the English academy for such a long time, with the exception of Sancho, of course. So I think that he took his time, right? I mean, initially he was benched for David Silva in his prime, and then he had Kevin De Bruyne coming in, and then we had Bernardo Silva who also came into that role. So I think that he's had his competition, but now he is, undroppable from the City lineup. And, sometimes he comes and go out.
He's benched Sterling.
Exactly. He's benched Sterling, and it's no easy task. And I think that, so the important thing is to give youngsters time. And it's not always about, going at saying he's got to do this, he's got to do that. I think that sometimes you just have to give them a bit of time, and that's what I want to say to all the comment section as well. Some people are criticizing him, some people are saying that he he's something special. He is something special, without a doubt. He is something special, but at the same time we have to sort of remain patient with him and give him time to understand when to take which decision. It is something that Tuchel does brilliantly. In fact, I think his training methods, the first day he joined, he said that he doesn't give any instruction to the player. He gives a problem to the player, which the player himself has to find a solution from in training. So I think such sort of exercises could definitely help Pulisic improve his decision making. And it's not about building muscles, once again, to all the guys who said that physicality. It's how you protect the ball. That's what Hazard did so well. You can't see Hazard flex like this, and he's got 6 packs.
Hazard wasn't muscular. Hazard
Exactly.
Hazard was chunky though, like in terms of trying to push him off. It is.
Yeah. Exactly. It's how you protect the ball, right? The way you protect the ball, it's either you have it or you're going to win a foul. There shouldn't be a third option where you get dispossessed at all. And that's what Pulisic has to learn.
It's in the brain as well. Like when if you're running at someone like a Rodri and you think, oh no, this guy's going to push me out the way, naturally you probably have that mentality. Whereas just say a Mount, like, he's not bigger than Pulisic that much himself. He doesn't have it in his brain that this guy's going to do me. He will push into him and try and protect the ball better. It's all in the mind, I think.
Yeah, it's how you use your body, man. It's how you use your body. Mount uses his body very well. He positions himself in a way where if you push me over, it will be a foul. Yeah. And if you can't, I will half turn and run past you. Do you know what I mean? So it's really a technique. I need to read this one from Surge. It's a really good comment. Callum's pass to Werner was something my eyes were bleeding to see since a long time. Not many people are talking about that pass. That pass right at the end to release Werner, and then Werner puts in that cross for Alonso's goal. Not many people are talking about that Callum's pass, which is so fantastic, actually. Werner has been making those runs since day one, but we somehow didn't see those. Kudos to TT again for this 100% right, Sergi. Honestly, that's well spotted. And that's the other thing about Callum Hudson-Odoi that I feel like off the back of that cameo, and I feel if I've said that Reece James was a mad impetus for our push for the victory, Callum was just as much off the bench and a positive move from Thomas Tuchel as well. He could have very much just brought in like another defender, maybe an Emerson or whoever, to shut up shop and just sit back and just relax. Nah, he went for it. He got in Callum. There's a go out there and get that victory because we can smell blood here. We can actually get the victory against these guys. So kudos to both Thomas Tuchel, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and obviously post-match, Thomas Tuchel grabbed him on a headlock, really jovial with Callum. And it made me believe that Callum has a big future. Like, I think, I'm hyping up a lot of these youth players at the moment, like, your Billies and whatnot, but I truly think Thomas Tuchel believes in these players, man. I think he believes in Callum Hudson-Odoi. The way he was talking to him after the match, very Pep-like to Sterling, just showing him all those directions and whatnot.
Remember when Pep got Nathan Redmond after a game, and he was telling Redmond that you are attacking so well, keep doing that. Even though he was on the other team.
Yeah. Opposition team. What's he doing?
With Cho, it's like we kind of forget he's not just this runner as well. He has playmaking ability. I remember against Fulham, the game where we won 1-0 when Mount scored away from home again. When it was at one of Lampard's late games where he actually won. And Hudson-Odoi played this amazing ball over the top to Werner. And I think it might have been the time where Werner missed that one-on-one and everyone was like, add that one to his missed compilation. But he had that playmaking ability from like to put a ball from like where he was standing. He was pretty much standing next to Lampard on the dugout and he pinged this ball over the top.
You know what, Kishan? A lot of people say that Callum is probably more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. A lot of people, the people that have seen him in youth days, in the academy days and the development squad and how he played, they say that he's more of a playmaker. Like he can actually produce a lot of assists. So now, very well. So hopefully he gets a game. I do want to talk about this one. This particular player is I'm in love. I'm not even going to deny it anymore. Rudiger is someone I'm actually, just the way I'm so emotionally attached with Ziyech, I'm starting to get very emotionally attached with Rudiger because, me being from a Muslim background as well, and Rudiger being Muslim, and then after seeing him against Real Madrid going down and doing the sujood on the ground and celebrating. Honestly, I love that kind of stuff a lot. And here we have Antonio Rudiger broke his jaw against Real Madrid. So he's been playing with a broken jaw. I mean, I'll go to you, Ameya, this one. I think he's starting to become all of this bully and this and that. And he called out Billy. He said post-match that Billy was one of the finest players in that match. Like, he called him out and he said that he had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like all of this stuff that people were saying when Frank Lampard got sacked and, Rudiger's this and that. He was one of the biggest instigators. He's a bully. He created a bad environment. Look, that's only one side of the story, right? We need to hear all sides of stories. We need to hear from many different people. We can't just hear from one player that's feeding information to a journalist, or we can't hear from one group. We need to hear from many staff members. We need to hear from the player itself. We need to hear from the coach and many other avenues before we make a judgment, right? I simply like Rudiger a lot, man. I think he gives the same. He's like the role model of what a Chelsea defender should be. The attitude, that mongrel, that shithousery that we say, right?
Yeah.
I'm truly liking what he's doing at the moment. What's your feel about Rudiger?
He's been incredible off late, and I think that he's grown into that position so much more. And you mentioned him being a bully, and I don't see why that's a bad thing, right? He's been bullying opposition players for so long now, especially the Atletico Madrid game. He absolutely rattled Suarez. He got into his head, and I think that was incredible.
Suarez had nothing.
Exactly. He absolutely rattled Suarez. And I think that's the sort of shithousery we also need in attack, but that's for another day. I think in defense, Rudiger, you need a calm, composed defender like probably Christensen or Thiago Silva. And you also need, those energetic, those players who never shy away from a tackle. I mean, if you see Rudiger and an opposition player running for the same ball, I'm going to back Rudiger to, 2-foot the opponent and get the ball and come away with the ball without conceding a foul. You know what I'm saying? And it's the sort of challenge which the commentators go, that was a bit of a rash one. But in his defense, he had every right to make that. He never shies away from a challenge. He drives from, and I think was it this game with he just lifts his head up and starts running so fast all of a sudden.
One thing so underrated from that left centre back position, every game he'll do two things. He'll go on a mad run and end up in their box. And
it's so iconic, isn't it, Kishan?
He's like Sonic the Hedgehog. He literally puts his head down and he's off. Yeah. And then the other thing is he'll have a mad shot from far, and it's always on target or just above. He's got a really good shot. One day, mark my word, it's gonna go in as well, and everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa,
bro!" It rattles the keeper because the ball's moving. Like he takes a shot from so far and he thumps
every game without fail. I love those two things as well.
Seriously, Rudiger.
A David Luiz sort of goal. No, like David Luiz used to shoot from distance as well. He randomly used to run front and then just get a shot away. But Rudiger's more composed as well than that, and he's been pretty good on the ball as well. A phenomenal player so far, and huge props to Rudiger for redeeming himself. Yeah,
I love this. Antonio
there was that one video, wasn't it? There was that one video where he was on a Champions League press conference, and
he said, "Understand it."
No, it was like Matt Law got chosen to ask a question, and they were like, Matt Law," and he was like,
no, he was like this. So next question's for Matt Law, and he's like, he just went from,
Do you
know what I mean?
Ready for boxing, he was like,
Boys, I need to talk about this. You should be ashamed. What is this? Shout out Thomas Tuchel to Anthony Taylor after City were given a penalty. Assistant Zolt Slow had some strong words to say. Boys, there was also another incident where Sterling went boot first on Timo Werner. Honestly, that could have been a leg-breaking tackle.
I don't know how VAR didn't check that, in all honesty. I genuinely thought at least they should have taken a look, because I've seen red cards being given for a lot less contact and a lot lower boot than that.
I think they did look at it, no? I think they did.
It was probably for just a second. I don't know how. Honestly, the red card against West Ham, this is more of a red card than what the West Ham game was.
You know what? In real time, I was actually, maybe because it was in the 14th minute, where I thought when they slowed it down, it looked bad. But in real time, and when I watched it again, I thought, okay, I kind of see why it's a yellow. But now everyone is telling me they're like red, and it's like an overwhelming red. So it's like
it's not like a clear and obvious red. But if the referee had given a red card for that, I don't think VAR
wouldn't get over. It's pretty 100%. Much like the penalty for that went. But then it's like, all right, he shouldn't have been on the pitch for the penalty. So it all evens out.
Exactly. But one thing you can't hide is that his boot was high, right? And it was right below the knee. If it was slightly higher, it would have been probably season-ending, 6 months injury, especially if you injure a knee ligament. So that was a very dangerous and very rash tackle, in fact, from Sterling. And you said in real time it didn't look as bad. It didn't, yeah. But then when you play it slowly exactly.
Yeah.
When you look at when the contact was made, it was very dangerous, in fact, very dangerous.
And he goes on to score. He scored as well, didn't he? Which is annoying for us.
Yeah, and you know what? Anthony Taylor is now, he's got a bit of a string of things that he's done against us, and it's piling up now. And then, no, I'm being serious. I think someone do these referees post-match do a review of the match and just look through and go,
I think
maybe that wasn't right.
They write it. They write their report in a book, but it's submitted just to the FA. I don't think it's made public.
Right. Because someone needs to. Because I don't know, man. For me, that Billy Gilmour penalty. Personally, I don't think that was a penalty because Gabriel Jesus cut in, and he cut into Billy Gilmour. Yeah. I don't know what Billy can do. Billy didn't initiate that foul. Gabriel Jesus was running and he was cutting in and cut into Billy.
He moved back into him, really.
Yeah, he moved. Billy Gilmour didn't tackle him. Do you know what I mean? He didn't initiate any tackle.
If anything, he was trying to get out. He held his hands up and he was trying to get out.
He was trying to get out. He was not trying to initiate. Zuma, on the other hand, he was clumsy. He was trying to initiate something from the back. He was tapping this and that on the side. He's just trying to touch him. He was trying to do something. I clearly get that. And this is the thing. I feel like these referees, and it's not just this referee. I've seen a few this weekend where I'm thinking, do these referees even care anymore? They just leave it for VAR, let them decide, and I'll just pick up my paycheck at the end of it, and we'll move on. Do you know what I mean? There's VAR there now, so it's all happy days. Kishan, I'll go to you. I mean, I feel like the refereeing is very poor, man, in the Premier League. I don't get to see that level of poor refereeing in the Champions League. I think Champions League is far more free-flowing. They do give yellows when it's necessary and whatnot. But in the Premier League, I've seen too many ridiculous, funny stuff, man. Just real funny stuff. You remember last year, Kovacic, how he got stomped on in the FA Cup final, and he got the red card.
But I think it was a second yellow.
Second yellow.
Yeah. Second yellow. But still, that wasn't even a yellow. Do you know what I mean?
For us, it's a red, yeah.
Yeah, so, and just funny things like that. Kishan, what do you think, man? Do referees need to go through some sort of a reform at the end of this season and just really look into what they're doing, especially in the Premier League?
I'd say it's not necessarily the case that it's just in the Premier League. I think even in Europe, you do get those decisions, and we've probably benefited from them in Europe. When you look at the game against Atleti and Aspi, what he did when he could have gave away that red card / penalty, stuff like that. I don't know how that got away as well. But I do get what you mean in terms of, because they know this VAR, it makes their call. They kind of wait for VAR, but their call is so much more important. Like he said, like Ameya said, if he gives Sterling that red card, when they check it back, will there be clear and obvious error? No, they'll keep it at red. So the referee's call is still equally important. If he gives the penalty against Sterling, would they overturn it? No. So it's they still need to be on it with refereeing games, but you do feel like there would be a drop in concentration. If you know that there's video cameras to bail you out, naturally you would, but your call is still so important because they still always side with you if it's 50-50. So you have to still try and make the right decision all the time.
Yeah, 100%. Ameya, what's your thoughts on the refereeing, man? I just can't remember some clear examples, but I've seen quite a few matches like Leeds and Tottenham as well. I saw a couple of other matches in recent times. And all of them, even less than Newcastle as well, few refereeing decisions, I'm like, do these guys even put the effort anymore? They just leave it for the VAR. And on top of that, VAR's not always doing the right thing either. Yeah. So what's your thoughts, man?
I think the main reason VAR was introduced it's very clear, right? Most people get confused with the fact that it's there to, give all the correct decisions. It's not. It's just to overturn a clear and obvious error by the referee. And that's not what VAR is serving its purpose at all, right? And I think that's what Kishan mentioned, right? The decision of the referee is just as important as the decision of VAR, because they can so easily influence the game, and I think they've got to realize that. And VAR as well, I think the main issue is that the refereeing, the rules of the game, which are actually, given by the FA, are sort of open-ended. I think it was, I read it up somewhere. I don't remember what. It was probably a long time ago. But the rules are open-ended and open to interpretation. So at the end, it says to the referee's best judgment, right?
Yeah.
And I think different referees interpret different situations in different way. And obviously, every situation is different. You can't compare one to the other. There's so many other factors to be involved in every single decision. But it's because that it's open to interpretation. Different referees have different interpretations. For example, the handball rule, until it was clarified, I remember the Spurs Newcastle game was after which it was changed. But the rule just says that if it hits the player's hand, or if it's in stopping play, then it's a penalty, and sometimes shoulders given. And you remember the VAR decision against Firmino. I'll never forget that. The VAR officials gave a report saying that his armpit was offside. I mean, what on earth? How can you even say that? So I think such sort of things that VAR has sort of got to scale back on, give a little bit benefit of the doubt. But once again, if you give someone the benefit of the doubt and another VAR official doesn't, then there's again going to be controversy. So it's not exactly the referee's fault entirely. I think the players, the situation they're putting themselves in, because, earlier, if there was light contact and a player went over and the referee, if he was a strict referee, he would just say, no, get up and get on with the game. But now the players themselves know that if they slow it down and if they look at it, with the virtual assistant referee, then they will see a bit of contact. And the rules say that if there's contact and the player goes down, then it's a penalty. Right? It doesn't say, how much contact or whether it puts him off balance. It just says that if there is contact, intentional or unintentional, and the player goes down, it's a penalty. So now the players, every time they feel even a little bit of contact, they go down. And it's in a gray area, right? Because is there contact? Yes. But is it too soft to be a penalty? Also, yes. So now the referees are confused. They're like, okay, so should I go and give them the penalty because the rules say so? Or should I say no and, say that it's too soft to be a penalty? And that's where the controversy rises, and that's why there's so many odd decisions. And when you compare all of them together, and when you bring up one with the other, it's like it causes confusion, and there is no proper clear guidance, and and with referees and players milking it on both sides, I think that's what's causing it's a huge mess basically. And the FA is like, let's just let it get on with it. Let's get the season over with.
No, 100%, man. Maldini's middle finger. VAR should overrule the on-field referee, just like in cricket. Cricket's got some magnificent ways of checking things and heats. Hotspot and this and that and whatnot. And even tennis has amazing bird's eye view and whatnot. I think in football, they don't want to introduce all of that as yet because they feel it's going to slow things down. Already they feel that with VAR, it slows things down. Watch this space. A couple of more things before we sort of end this. Andreas Christensen's injury, boys. Kishan, is it going to be a massive miss? Obviously, we're not going to talk about. I feel like I know why you're laughing because he always tends to. Whenever there's a.
I thought the first question.
Go on.
I thought the question was going to be, is he faking it?
I knew you're thinking that. Every time we give away a goal and it's Christensen off the back of it, somehow he's always injured. Somehow he just comes out injured, or gets a red card like the way he got in Liverpool against Liverpool. But look, he's been immense. He's been immense under Thomas Tuchel. First time he's made a massive error. He looked shaky throughout that match anyway before that issue, but that was the first proper error under him. But he got injured. Are we gonna? Kishan, are we really going to look? I'm not going to say that we're not going to miss him. I think we will miss him, but we've got quite a lot of depth in centre back position, right?
Yeah, like in terms of will we miss him, I still think we will because you can't forget how good he's actually been. Especially in these games where we need extra height, we do tend to stick Azpilicueta as the right wing back, and we push him into that right centre back role. But I found it really weird that yesterday he was supposedly playing in the middle of the three, but every single time he sort of ended up in the left, isolated with one of their attackers. There was this one time.
You know why? Rudiger pushed up to help out in midfield because there was a case where I think Kante was looking to drive forward and they didn't want to have the same issue as Fulham, keeping Billy Gilmour all isolated. So Rudiger was looking every opportunity to be close to Billy Gilmour. Then he was sort of dragged out to the left side.
So when he got dragged out to the left side, it never felt like he had that set position. It was always like, oh, he's a second too slow. So he's running. And when you're running, your balance isn't great. So I think someone held him off and the ball went over. And this was the time that they didn't capitalize. So I can't remember what happened. And similarly, that same ball goes over and he gets knocked out of the way. And that's the one that they score from. So it happened 2 times in the game. So that game, he didn't look really good. But
do you have doubts if we ever move to 4 at the back that if he plays in a 2 centre back?
For sure. I have doubts about a lot of this team if we move to a 4 at the back, apart from possibly Thiago Silva, because he's just Thiago Silva. But with the rest of them, I do have my doubts. Even Tony Rudiger, for as good as he's been on the left side, the centre back, I do think if we go to 4, it just changes it completely. But we do have it, like you said, we have enough there. And like I was saying, I still see Callum Hudson-Odoi as a massive sort of right wing back option. So it's like, if Azpi gets pushed back, then you have the 2 right wing backs still available, and then you go from there. So we got more than enough. I'm not sure I want to see Zuma again though, after how clumsy he's been.
He's as I said, I think he's the other one where I think he's better suited in a 2 at the back as opposed to a 3 at the back. In a 3, he's not really the guy in the middle. He's not really the guy on the right, and he's not really the guy on the left. So what is he then? Do you know what I mean? So whereas if it's 2 at the back, he's quite solid, whether it's left or the right. Like I think his recovery pace is good enough to help him out with the 2 at the back. Whereas 3, he's like, well, I'm only given 1 spot to look after, and I don't know if he quite does it well enough from that perspective. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was, let's just quickly talk about Hakim Ziyech as well. Ameya, obviously, this man, he scored some big goals for us. Atletico Madrid, Sheffield United, Man City now twice. The thing about Hakim Ziyech that I like a lot is every time it seems like he's not having the best game, but he's always got that moment of magic. I remember Kishan once again during the match, he was messaging me and he was like, "What happened to your Habibi Hakim Ziyech?" Do you know what I mean? And literally 2 seconds later, he scored a goal. And I went back to Kishan saying, "There you go, he's just scored a goal." And then Kishan to be like, "But he still had a poor game."
I said, I never doubted him. That's what I said.
You always give me the crap every time I have Ziyech in like a combined 11 or this. Now you're like, sneaking in Ziyech again.
No, but you know what? Combined 11, fair enough though, because he barely sneaks into our lineup and you're putting him in the combined.
Bro, you don't understand. As soon as I said that about Pulisic, that he wasn't having a good game, everyone was on my back. Oh, you're not going to talk about Ziyech because you like him a lot, don't you? You're not going to say a single word about Ziyech. I go, look, you know what? No, Ziyech hasn't been playing that great. And then Ziyech literally 2 minutes later scores, and then someone took that picture of mine and said, "Oh, look at this fool, thinking Ziyech wasn't playing good." I'm like, oh my God, I can't win. Like, even if I say, do you know what I mean?
You can't, You know what I found so weird is Ziyech wearing a half-sleeve top. It just didn't look right.
What's he doing? Bro?
What is he doing? It's like he should be on that right side switching play in that full sleeve t-shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Ameya, what's your thoughts, man? I feel like even in a season where he's been injured a lot, and it's been an up and down season, it's a first season, he scored some vital goals, man. He has scored some vital goals. And not just that, and Kishan, you'll probably agree with this as well, he's missed out on a lot of assists. He's put in some banger of passes, which didn't get finished by some of our strikers, and he's missed out on quite a lot of assists coming off the bench, which would have made him look a lot better as well. Ameya, you know, every now and then there's all these rumors that come out, Ziyech probably going to leave at the end of the season. He doesn't seem happy. He wasn't there for the Real Madrid, post-celebration. He wasn't there for taking the pictures, da-di-da-di-da. So wasn't Azpi. Azpi wasn't there in the team pictures as well. Like, no one really talks about that, right? it's just maybe someone was in the shower and when that photo was getting taken, or Ziyech was fasting, maybe he was eating. Who knows? Like, do you know what I mean? Just because he's not in the picture, Ziyech is going to leave. He's going to leave. He's going to put a transfer request right now. But what do you think? I mean, I think some are really, really underestimating Ziyech, don't you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think people forget that under Lampard, he was probably one of our best players as well. The Burnley game, the Sheffield United game where we won 4-1. Newcastle as well. He is not a bad player by any means. I think he is that sort of player that people don't rate because he loses the ball too much. I think there's different types of players, right? There's adventurous ones. There's one who played safe all the time. But Ziyech is always adventurous. I mean, wherever you see him on the ball, he's never going to make a simple pass. He's going to look up. He's going to cut in on his boot, and he's going to hit it with that peach of a left foot.
He's never going to look for a pass backwards. He's never going
to look for a pass backwards. He's always either going to look for a cross or a shot, or he's just going to do something beautiful with that left foot.
Outside of his left foot.
His party piece. On the right, he'll always look for that ball back post at the left.
Exactly. So I think that sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it goes for a goal kick. Sometimes the opposition gets a hold of the ball, and then they cut out the cross and probably go on a counter attack. And he can't control that, right? I mean, his intention was to get do something exciting, get fans off their seats, and we don't have too many players who do that right now. And Ziyech is one of them. And sometimes when it doesn't come off, it's okay, right? I mean, even if it comes off 1 out of the 10 times and we score a crucial goal, it still pays off. Why not? Exactly. Why not? Yeah. So I think that Ziyech sometimes catches unnecessary flack. And the issue is he's in his prime, right? And he is sometimes getting benched by players who are so much younger than him, who are not even in their prime. And don't kill me for this, miss. Don't kill me for this. But
I might have to. You watch your mouth.
But I think I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I just think that sometimes he isn't the sort of player that simply goes around running and headless chickens, and that's why some people, it pisses me off when people tweet that Ziyech doesn't care about the club, he doesn't care about the game. It's just because
so true, bro. Just because he's not like I get what you mean.
Not
like
a passion
Ozil type of player, luxury player.
Yeah,
he's not, man. He's not. He presses well. He really does.
He does.
Just because he doesn't, go around throwing tantrums, it doesn't mean that he doesn't care about the club. He has that, air of swagger about him. He gives that one look, and then you just
even his celebrations, like he does these ones or these ones or whatever. Yeah, like, I don't know what he's doing.
What I find so weird? Like when you listen to him in an interview, he seems like such a dead personality, but he's not because of how he plays and how he is with people he knows, with all these celebrations and stuff. But the thing is, I think we're so used to having Mason Mount press as a fan base that we're used to seeing that level of pressing, that when Ziyech is not bad at pressing at all, and I think he showed it yesterday, it's just obviously Mason Mount at pressing is like, he's like German level.
He's top.
So it's like, so we try and compare him like that, and especially when Mount's not playing, of what you actually miss out on. But he's not that level, but he's still brilliant at pressing. And like you said, the one thing Werner enjoys playing with him, because every time he gets the ball, literally Ameya's right, he gets the ball to his feet, he look up, and Werner will always make a run. And he'll always look for him, which is one thing I really like. And it's like, someone asked on this earlier, is Werner A team or B team? But with him, it's so like,
he's so fine. He's all team. He's A and B.
So fine, because if you're he's like he's not a capital A. He's like the small A. It's like he'll be.
I like that one.
He'll be, if you're playing Werner and you want to get the best out of Werner in a game, you'd recommend having Ziyech in there, wouldn't you? Because he just gets the best out of him. With that game against Man City in the semi-final, those two looked like they were on a wavelength. Against Liverpool, one of our better games, those two looked good. So,
bro, he deserved the goal. I can't believe how Alisson, or was it Alisson, or I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Alisson. Ziyech had a goal written in that game, man. Remember that shot from Ziyech against Liverpool? How Alisson saved it. Timo Werner crossed it in again, and Ziyech was in the box, and he hit it. And I think Alisson saved it.
Yeah.
that would have been a goal. That really
and his goal yesterday, we can't forget the goal yesterday. That was a brilliant hit, because when Aspi puts it at him, the touch he takes to let it bounce like that, and then he hits it perfectly. Ederson suspect, but which goalkeeper isn't suspect nowadays, like we were saying? Yeah, last week, I remember us having the conversation of Mendy, and we said he doesn't make enough clutch saves. And then he goes against Real Madrid and makes these clutch saves. Yeah. And then the second thing we said is Mendy never saves penalties. And then he goes...
what shall we say this week? What shall we say this week?
This is ball knowledge at its finest, yeah. But again, let's come out with something stupid and the players prove us wrong, and it works to our benefit anyway. So this is brilliant.
Perfect. Now you know what we did. I remember we sat here saying he doesn't make clutch saves. Look at that shot from Benzema. Oh my days. Both of you guys would agree. Had that gone in, none of you guys would complain. You'd be like, that was a banger of a shot.
The other one is, when Modric played in Benzema, the header, I had it on and it froze when the ball was in the air to Benzema.
You told me.
Like, I have this, my TV has this knack of freezing. In the first leg against Atletico, when the ball got passed out to Mendy and he took a heavy touch and it looked like he could give a penalty. That's when it froze. So I'm thinking we've given away a penalty. And this time it's when Benzema's headering. So I'm thinking, 1-1 to a hard lead.
Where did it freeze?
Literally when he's going for that. So I'm thinking, all right, that's it.
Oh, this is it.
And you know when else it froze? When Havertz hits the crossbar and the ball's landing in the air for Werner. And out of everyone, you got Werner under it. I'm like, has he got this one in?
This brother's missing. How about that compilation, boys? I don't know if you saw. Someone made a compilation of that particular goal where the ball goes up and instead of going in, Timo Werner misses it over the top of the bar. Like someone, played around with the edit, and I was like, oh my days. Give him a break, man. Give him a break. Rafael, the problem is we aren't using Ziyech properly. His best positions as the right wing, whipping crosses in from the right side. 100%. That's how he played for Ajax, and he drifts into the center position. You'll notice against City in the first half, he was on the left side. I didn't like him on the left side.
Yeah.
And then second half, he switched over. He was more central in the second half and more right and central.
I do like when the ball comes to him on that left side, he doesn't have to take that adjusting. So, when he's on the right side, he will always have to take that touch in before he whips it. Whereas here, it's naturally on him. And I thought all game what he was doing was just looking for Werner anyway. And his passing is so good that when it's already on that foot, just swing it and he'll go. So I didn't really mind him, but I do get what you mean by him not being on the right.
But you know what I like about him? Yeah, it feels wrong. And you know what I like about him being on the right is that, it's very predictable. That's what he's going to do. He's going to cut in. Even though it's so predictable, it's like Arjen Robben style. Like, you can predict it, brother, but you ain't stopping that cross. You ain't going to stop that cross. And I think that cross-field cross is a lot more difficult for the keeper to judge. What do I do? Do I come out or do I not? And then when you see the player header it, you think, why didn't the keeper come out? That was literally just a meter away from them, because they can't really judge it. Like, is it coming to me? Is it like they don't know what to do? And I like that. Whereas on the left, when he whips in, it's only going to be either on the far post and whatnot. So it's not that difficult.
It's also easier to score in-swinging crosses because you don't have to add too much power to it. While when you put an out-swinger ball, you're going to have to direct it. But when it's an in-swinger, you just have to head it to goal, and that's a lot more dangerous.
Exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gone for a long, long time. We actually didn't even plan for this long. Every time we seem to just plan for an hour, we just go for more than an hour. This is the thing. This is what's going to happen every week. You can see the live chat's buzzing again. We've got over 60 people. Please smash the like button. Have a look at my panelists and their socials in the description. Please follow them everywhere. Just before I go, I do want to share this because someone brought this up, and I do want to say it because this is my platform. I'm the captain of this platform, and I want to talk about this. A couple of seasons ago, under Sarri's season, I don't know if you boys remember, maybe Ameya remembers this. Kishan, you definitely don't remember this. I was going after the journalists, right? Here's a mad story for the live chat. Stick around. You're going to like this story. This is a little bit about me in football Twitter, so you're going to like this. So stick around and smash the like button if you like it as well. I was under Sarri's season. I was very much pro Sarri, right? Like I wanted Sarri to do well, and the way he was changing the philosophy of the football club. You know what I mean? Like we were going from a counter-attacking team to a possession-based team with a lot more sort of technicality and whatnot, vertical passing, and very different. There was a group of people, as you know, a part of the fan base did not like Sarri at all, and that part was getting egged on by the media as well. The English media did not like Sarri as well. Let's be honest, right? I went on a bit of a crusade at the end of the season, and I went after every single journalist out there. And that's where the whole "here's a message just for you" started. My whole, the chop and the iconic picture and all of that. Ameya knows about this.
Yeah.
Kishan, I'm pretty sure you've seen it as well. The last time I did it to Matt Law with Rudiger statement. That was a massive thing. I remember my first target was Liam Toomey, and he retweeted that. I went up to Liam Toomey, and Liam Toomey retweeted that. That one blew up. I think that one had about 180,000 views, where I went absolutely ballistic with Liam Toomey, because Liam Toomey said that Eden Hazard's the reason why Sarri's got all this success this season. And I'm like, well, that's a bit harsh. Like just putting it all on Eden Hazard, like Sarri had nothing to do with it. Like why don't you just make Eden Hazard the coach? Like just sack Sarri halfway through and just tell Eden Hazard to manage. You know what I mean? Like, so I went after him. I went after many other journalists. There was one individual fan that did not like what I was doing, right? And I think he's close mates with some of these journalists. So some of these journalists actually got rattled off the back of that, because they didn't want to get targeted, me creating a video which was getting so much exposure, da-di-da-di-da, and they didn't want to be talked about during that time. Do you know what I mean? Looking back, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I was just passionate at that time, right? But this one fan took a bit of a personal issue about that and started going after me. Then this particular fan, I don't know who, maybe someone helped him, or maybe he hacked into my Facebook account. And the very first time I went to London, and all my family members in London are all Arsenal fans, right? All my cousins, my uncles, everyone, they're all Arsenal fans. I'm the only Chelsea fan when I go there, right? So that was in 2009. I remember it was in 2009, and I only had a short time. It was about 2 to 3 weeks that I was there. And I couldn't get a Chelsea ticket. It was too difficult to get a Chelsea ticket at that time. But the boys had a FA Cup 4th round, Arsenal versus Burnley at the Emirates. I'm not going to say no to that. Like, I come from Sydney. I'll watch any match in London. Like, I don't care. That's why the second time I went around, not only I watched a match in Stamford Bridge, I watched a match in Upton Park. I watched a match in Emirates as well. I watched a match in Cardiff. Like, I went around everywhere watching a match. I was even going to go to Leicester and watch. That was the season that Leicester won, 2015-16. I was even planning to go to Leicester. So you can imagine a fan from Australia, they'll just go and watch any game, because we don't get the privilege as you guys do, Kishan. Do you know what I mean? So this guy, he got that. He hacked into my Facebook, and he got a picture of me with my cousins, and all my cousins with the Arsenal shirt on, and they had their Arsenal banner, and I grabbed all of them like that, and my caption said "goal." Do you know what I mean? It didn't even say anything. It just said "goal," right? This guy took that picture and he put it on Twitter, and he said, "Oh my God, look at this guy. He's actually an Arsenal fan." I did not have any Arsenal kit. I did not have anything. I just had my family around me. Do you know what I mean? All my cousins. There was about 4 of us. Do you know what I mean? 5 including me. And I was just holding them just in front of Emirates with the caption "goal." And this guy goes around that, this guy, he's not a Chelsea fan, daddy, he's actually an Arsenal fan. And many idiots started to just troll me off the back of that. And it bothered me back then, that during the Sarri time, it bothered me. But obviously since then, it's been 2 seasons. I've moved on. People have moved on. People that know me properly, they know. I mean, it's funny. Had they gone and hacked even more, they would have seen a whole heap of Chelsea stuff as well. But they just nicely just picked out that Arsenal moment and they plugged in there. Lately, some idiots are trying to do that to me again. And I had that a couple of days ago. Someone's trying to tag me, this guy's an Arsenal fan. And I'm like, not this again. Like, seriously, I'm not having this. And I'm not been engaging one bit. And obviously today, Zippy came out and said, your Arsenal fan thing has come out again, or you're a plastic Chelsea fan, da-di-da-di-da. Yeah, I just thought that I want to share that with you guys if you guys ever see that kind of stuff. And because honestly, boys, I've had a few messages off the back of that saying, "Miz, are you seriously an Arsenal fan? Or were you used to be an Arsenal fan?" I'm like, dude, are you serious?
Miz,
like, who changes fan base
Yeah. How did the Europa League exit feel for you?
That was tough, bro. That was tough. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't know about you guys, man. I don't know if it's that easy to just change fan base. Do you know what I mean? Like had I just been some other fans, like other clubs fan, I don't know how you just change a fan base. Do you know what I mean? Like Chelsea's gone through bad times as well. Like we haven't won a Premier League for a while now. Last time we won was Conte time. So, do you know what I mean? Like,
it's just people have too much time, man. Like, you don't even have to justify the story because you're not going to come on camera and make Chelsea videos every day if you don't support Chelsea. Like, who does that kind of stuff? It's just stupid people. It's just funny for us to say that. Now we know you're a truly Arsenal fan, so
exactly.
I mean, perfectly in time for our game against each other, then, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't wait. I'll just do the preview myself.
Come with those half t-shirts.
Half Arsenal, half Chelsea. No, that'll be funny, honestly. I'm just looking at some of these live chat. We got Declare saying Miz Twitter is bad. You got to laugh at the stupidity. No, you do. And Noak saying, no, we aren't having this, Miz. We know you're an Arsenal fan. You naughty. Then Fayaz Verdin, then you're a plastic changing from Arsenal to Chelsea. There you go. See, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult.
You know what? I feel like you shouldn't have even brought this up here. Now, in your comments, all you're going to get is this nonsense.
Yeah. People, that's what I just had to clarify, man. Some people just, they I don't know, they're serious and they're not. And you know me, like I'm 35 for God's sakes. Like I don't have time for.
no one's serious, man. They just try and they try and basically trigger you, but that's it. Yeah, have none of it. Even you know what? You should just agree. It should be like, yeah, I'm Arsenal. That's it. Done. Joke's done.
Exactly. Joke's done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to do this news segment once every week. Sunday 11:30 most of the times. There could be a bit of a change here and there, but I'll keep you guys posted in regards to that. But yeah, we'll be back next week again. It'll be a whole heap of change. Obviously, it'll be I'm pretty sure it'll be after the Leicester FA Cup final.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Or is that on a Sunday?
I think
that's Saturday. The women's game is the Sunday.
So perfect. So we'll be talking about after the FA Cup final. So it'll be perfect. So it'll be interesting to do that.
Yeah, just the women's game is at 2:30 p.m. UK today as well, and they're going to win the league if they get the better of Reading. Manchester City, I think, are just 2 points below us. So as long as we win the game, we win the league. So 2:30 p.m. UK, guys. Hope a lot of people can tune into the game, the Chelsea women's game, and hopefully we win the league.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well said. Chelsea women's team, guys, if you got the time, look, I'll be honest, man, I barely get the time to do anything besides the Chelsea team. After that, I've got to give time to family or else I'll lose my family. So I think it's important to have a family.
And watching the Arsenal games, Miz. And watching the Arsenal games.
when no one else is watching me, I'll be watching the Arsenal games. It is funny, actually, these days to watch the Arsenal games.
It is.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. As I said, smash the like button before you go and follow my people. Their socials are in the description. Amir's got the YouTube channel as well. Please subscribe to his channel. Until next time, everyone. See ya.